I never thought I'd be burying my own son. My name is Helen Morrison. I'm 58, and today I'm burying Michael, the only person who kept me going after my husband's death. The Baptist Church on Martin Luther King Avenue is full of people. Mike was well liked. Co-workers from his IT company, college friends, neighbors, everyone came to say goodbye. Pastor Johnson speaks about how sudden God's decisions can be, how the heart of a 32-year-old man can just stop without warning. I sit in the front row, staring at the closed casket. They didn't even let me say goodbye. Dr. Reynolds said it was too dangerous because of an infection. Beside me is Anna, Mike's wife. 3 years ago, he brought her home, glowing with happiness, a fair-haired girl with blue eyes. "Mom, I'm in love," he told me then. I smiled and hugged her. She instantly became part of our family. Now Anna cries softly, dabbing her eyes with a handkerchief. Poor girl, they loved each other so much. I take her hand and she squeezes mine back. During the service, I notice unfamiliar faces in the crowd, men in dark suits not offering condolences, just watching. One of them stands out, tall, athletic, studying the people around him carefully. I'm the last one to approach the casket. I rest my hand on the polished wood. "Goodbye, my boy," I whisper. Just then, someone lightly touches my shoulder. I turn, an older man in a worn coat, tired face, kind eyes. "Mrs. Morrison, my condolences," he says with a slight Belarusian accent. "Thank you. Did you know Mike?" He nods and grips my hand tightly. When he lets go, a folded piece of paper is left in my palm. "He was a good boy. Read this at home. It's very important." Before I can ask anything, the man vanishes into the crowd. At home, my hands trembling, I unfold the note. "Mom, I'm alive. I know this sounds impossible, but it's true. I can't explain everything now, but you're in danger. Don't trust Anna. They made me disappear to get to your money. I'm trying to come back to you. Please be careful and don't trust anyone until I return. I love you. Michael." The letter slips from my hands. My world tilts. My son alive? How? I saw his pale face in the hospital. I heard his heart stop. I don't sleep all night rereading the letter. By morning, I've got 2 possibilities. Either a miracle happened or someone is cruelly playing with my emotions. Anna shows up at 8 in the morning with breakfast. "How did you sleep, Helen?" I study her face carefully. The same blue eyes, the same gentle smile. If she's acting, she's damn good at it. Badly. I keep thinking about Mike. That's normal. Grief doesn't fade quickly. I decide to test her. "Anna, remember when Mike broke his arm at 8? "Of course." "Bike accident. Hospital. You sat by his bed all night." She knows the general story, but does she know the details? "And what song did I sing to him?" Anna hesitates. "I don't remember exactly. Some lullaby? Amazing Grace. Oh, right. Your favorite song." But I never told Anna it was my favorite. Only Mike knew that was the song I sang him. After breakfast, Anna suggests we deal with paperwork. "Helen, we need to file the insurance claim. The sooner the better." How much was it for? $250,000. Mike set it up 6 months ago. A lot of money. A motive. What did he say it was for? He said he wanted to make sure we'd be safe. When Anna leaves, I pull out the letter again and read it for what feels like the 100th time. The handwriting really does look like Michael's, but handwriting can be forged. I call Pastor Johnson. "Pastor, can I come by? I need some advice." In his office, Pastor Johnson studies the letter carefully. "Helen, the handwriting is very close to Michael's. But you realize this could be a fake." I do. But who could copy his style so perfectly? Someone who spent a long time studying your son. Someone who had access to his notes, his letters. Anna's lived with him for 3 years. Possibly. But Helen, think logically. If Mike is alive, why hasn't he come home? Why hasn't he called? Why these games with letters? A good question. If my son is truly alive and free, what's stopping him from returning? Pastor, what do you think about the circumstances of his death? He takes off his glasses, wipes them slowly. A few things struck me as odd. A closed casket because of some infection. Mike worked from home, so where would he catch an infection? And besides, he looked perfectly healthy at the last service. Dr. Reynolds said it was a heart problem. For a 32-year-old athlete? The pastor gets up, walks to the window. Helen, there's another strange thing. After Mike's death was announced, some people came up to me with questions. What people? Strangers. They asked about your family, your business, whether Mike had any other relatives. And what did you tell them? Nothing, but it made me uneasy. So someone's been digging into our family. Who and why? Pastor, if I find out something new, can I come back to you? Of course, child. And remember, whatever happens, God will not abandon you. The next day, I go to see Dr. Reynolds. I want to hear more about Mike's last days. The clinic looks the same as it did 15 years ago. Same chairs in the waiting room, same posters on the walls. The doctor greets me with sympathy, but I notice a nervousness in his manner. Helen, how are you holding up? I'm trying. Doctor, tell me more about Mike's condition. What exactly do you want to know? You mentioned heart problems. How serious were they? The doctor opens the medical file, but I notice he isn't actually reading it, just staring at the papers. Arrhythmia, irregular heartbeat. I prescribed medication. And the infection? Viral, very contagious. What kind of virus exactly? A pause. Too long. A rare strain. That's why the casket had to stay closed. Doctor, are you sure Mike is dead? He flinches. What kind of question is that, Helen? It's just, sometimes mistakes happen. People in comas mistaken for death. I've been a doctor for 30 years. I don't make mistakes like that. But his voice trembles. I stand to leave. Just then, a nurse walks into the office. A young woman with a worried look. Doctor, sorry to interrupt. A Mr. Carter is asking for you. Says you had an appointment. Dr. Reynolds goes pale. Tell him I'm busy. He can wait. The nurse leaves. I pretend to gather my things, but watch the doctor closely. He fidgets with folders, wipes his forehead with a handkerchief. Doctor, who is Mr. Carter? I don't know. Probably a patient. Another lie. People don't schedule appointments with doctors through nurses by first and last name. I leave the office and wait near the reception desk. 10 minutes later, the tall man I saw at the funeral steps out of Reynolds' office. He walks quickly toward the exit, and I catch a glimpse of him slipping an envelope into his jacket pocket. At home, I reread Michael's letter. Don't trust Anna. And now there's this mysterious link between Dr. Reynolds and the stranger from the funeral. Coincidence? Anna shows up with dinner, but she looks tense. How was your day, Helen? I went to see Dr. Reynolds, wanted to know more details. I notice Anna stiffen. And what did he say? That the death was sudden. Of course. We were all in shock. Anna, do you know a Mr. Carter? She freezes with the teacup in her hands. Who? Carter. Tall, athletic. He was at the funeral. I don't remember anyone like that. Strange. He visited Dr. Reynolds today. They seem to know each other well. Anna quickly finishes her tea. Helen, maybe he's just a patient. Why are you thinking about this? Just seemed familiar, that's all. That night, I go to bed with heavy thoughts. If Anna's lying about Carter, what else is she lying about? And the bigger question, if Michael is really dead, who wrote that letter and knew such intimate family details? And if he's alive, why hasn't he come home? Around 3 a.m, I hear a car outside. I look out the window. A dark sedan creeps past the house, then stops about 100 yards away. I watch for 20 minutes. The car doesn't move. By morning, it's gone. I decide to hire a private investigator. Online, I find an agency called Security Solutions, read the reviews, and call. I need help investigating my son's death. I suspect it's not as simple as it seems. Marcus Welsh meets me in a small office, a man in his 40s, confident manner, ex-cop. Tell me more, Mrs. Morrison. I show him the letter, tell him about Anna's odd behavior, Dr. Reynolds' nerves, and the mysterious Mr. Carter. Interesting. And what makes you think your son is alive? Just this letter. And a mother's intuition. Welsh studies the handwriting carefully. Looks authentic, but it could be forged. What do you want me to check? Everything. The circumstances of his death, financial transactions, Anna's past, and find out who Carter is. This will take time, and it'll cost money. Money isn't a problem. Welsh smiles. Then let's get started. I'll have some results in a couple of days. 3 days later, Welsh calls. Mrs. Morrison, I've got some interesting information. Can we meet? At a cafe, he pulls out a folder of documents. Let's start with the bad news. Your son did raise his life insurance, but not 6 months ago, like Anna said, just 1 month before his death. That's suspicious. Very. And here's something even worse. He shows me bank statements. 3 months before his death, large sums were transferred from Mike's accounts. In total, $120,000. To where? To accounts registered under fake names, but Anna had access to all of her husband's accounts. So she knew. She couldn't not know. But here's the most interesting part. Who those fake names belong to. Welsh pulls out another document. One of the accounts belongs to James Carter, the same man you saw at the doctor's office. So Anna and Carter are working together? Looks that way. And one last thing. Your son's medical records. Welsh lays out copies of the charts. Some of the entries were backdated, and the latest blood tests don't match a diagnosis of heart failure. My world flips upside down. So Mike was healthy? Perfectly healthy. In fact, the tests show traces of a sedative. What kind exactly? Midazolam. It's used in anesthesia. In high doses, it can make someone appear clinically dead. At home, I reread Michael's letter with new understanding. They made me disappear to get to your money. Who are they? Anna and Carter? That evening, I take out family photos, searching for anything that might explain the motives. Mike was always cautious, responsible. Why did he trust Anna so much? I look at their wedding photos. Anna in her white dress, Mike in his tuxedo. They look happy. But now I notice something I missed before. In the background stands Carter. He was at their wedding. So Anna had known Carter for 3 years. Their connection wasn't an accident. Anna shows up late in the evening with documents. Helen, we need to sign the papers for the insurance company. I read carefully. It's a claim for the payout after Mike's death. Anna, why the rush? To avoid dragging it out. The sooner we settle this, the better for everyone. And who gets the money? I do, as the widow. But don't worry, Helen. Some of it will go toward your needs. Some of it? Mike was my only child. By law, I'm entitled to part of the inheritance. Anna, have you checked Mike's will? She freezes. His will? Mike must have had one. He was a responsible man. I don't know anything about a will. But I remember. 3 years ago, when Mike got married, he mentioned that he'd taken care of all the paperwork, including a will. Anna, show me this photo. I pull out a wedding picture, point to Carter. Who is this? Anna turns pale. I don't know. Probably a friend of friends. Don't lie to me. That's the same Carter I saw at the doctor's office. Helen, you're mistaken. Then why didn't you admit you know him? Why lie? Anna stands up, gathers the papers. I need to go. We'll talk about this tomorrow, but tomorrow might be too late. After Anna leaves, I search my son's house. In his study, in a locked desk drawer, I find a copy of his will. I read it in disbelief. Everything is left to me. Anna isn't mentioned at all, which means if Mike is dead, she gets nothing, and the insurance could be challenged if fraud is proven. Anna has no legal way to get the money. Unless something happens to me, I keep searching and find something else. Mike's old laptop. I turn it on, dig through the files. Most folders are empty, but in one I discover photos. Anna with Carter in a restaurant. Date 2 years ago. Anna with Carter in a hotel. Date a year and a half ago. Anna and Carter kissing in a car. Date 1 year ago. My son knew about his wife's affair. He was watching her, gathering evidence. In the last folder, I find a document, a divorce petition. Mike was preparing to file. The file date is 1 week before his death. Now, it all makes sense. Anna found out about his plan to divorce. According to the will, she wouldn't get a thing. The insurance was her only way to get money, but only if Mike died while still her husband. I call Welsh despite the late hour. Welsh, it's urgent. I found the motive. I tell him about the will and the photos. Mrs. Morrison, this changes everything. We need to go to the police right away. But do we have enough proof? Now we do. Fake death, insurance fraud, possible kidnapping. We agree to meet at the police station in the morning. In the morning, I notice a car parked across the street. A dark sedan, tinted windows. When I go out to the store, the car follows me. At the supermarket, I call Welsh. Someone's following me. Dark sedan, I can't make out the plates. Where are you now? At the Oak Street supermarket. Stay there. I'll come. Welsh arrives 15 minutes later. The car disappeared as soon as I showed up. Who could it be? Most likely Anna and Carter's people. They know you're onto something. What should I do? For now, nothing. But be careful, and don't stay home alone. I return home with the sinking feeling I've walked into a trap. Anna knows I'm suspicious. Welsh warns me about danger, and Michael's letter stays in my bag, my only lifeline. I read it again. I'm trying to get back to you. Where is he? Why hasn't he come back yet? Anna comes in that evening with dinner, but she's acting strange, nervous, checking her phone constantly. Is everything okay? I ask. Of course. Just tired. Anna, do you know anyone who drives a dark sedan? She flinches. No. Why? Someone followed me today. Maybe you imagined it? It wasn't my imagination. And I know about Carter. I know you've known him for 3 years. Anna sets her cup down and looks at me. Helen, what are you talking about? He was at your wedding. I have photos. A long pause. Fine. Yes, I know, James. But it's not what you think. Then what is it? He's been helping me with legal matters. There's been so much paperwork since Mike's death. You're lying. I have photos of you kissing him. Anna turns pale. Helen, you don't understand. I understand perfectly. I know my son was preparing to file for divorce. I know his will leaves you nothing, and I know the insurance was your only chance at money. Anna stands up. I have to go. I'm not surprised. After she leaves, I check the locks, close all the curtains. I feel like I'm under siege. The next morning, Welsh and I go to the police station. Detective Sarah Martinez receives us, young but experienced, judging by her questions. Mrs. Morrison, start from the beginning. I show her the letter, explain Anna's suspicious behavior, Welsh's findings, the photos, and the will. The detective studies the documents carefully. These are serious accusations. But the problem is, technically, no crime has been committed. Your son is dead, and we have a death certificate. But the medical records are fake. Possibly. But that has to be proven with forensics, and so far, Anna hasn't taken any action directly against you. She lied about the insurance. hid the will, cheated on her husband. Infidelity isn't a crime. The rest are civil matters, not criminal. Welsh cuts in. Detective, we have grounds to suspect insurance fraud and possible kidnapping. Show me a living Mike Morrison, and then we'll talk about kidnapping. Detective Martinez sets the papers aside. Here's what I can do. We'll put discreet surveillance on Anna Stevens and James Carter. And you, Mrs. Morrison, stay cautious and report any suspicious incidents. And that's it? For now. But if Anna or Carter make a move... We leave the station disappointed. Welsh shrugs. They're right. Without a direct threat, it's hard to act. And what if the threat comes too late? Then you'd better be ready to protect yourself. Anna doesn't show up for 2 days. I start to worry. Where is she? What is she planning? On the 3rd day, Welsh calls. Mrs. Morrison, Anna's disappeared. She moved out of her apartment. Her phone's disconnected. What does that mean? Either she realized we're onto her and ran, or she's planning something big. I'm leaning toward the second option. Me too, but there's good news. Detective Martinez got a warrant to search Anna's apartment. And what did they find? They're still going through it. But already, fake documents and messages with Carter. 2 hours later, Welsh calls again. Mrs. Morrison, they found a computer in Anna's apartment with some very interesting files. What kind? A detailed plan to rob your salons, security layouts, guard schedules, copies of keys. So they were planning a robbery. Not just that. They also found medical supplies and syringes. The detective thinks they were planning to stage your death as a heart attack. My stomach tightens. The same thing they did to Mike? Most likely, only with him, the plan half worked. He survived, but they made him disappear. Welsh, what about Carter? Gone too. Police put them both on the wanted list. That evening, sitting home alone, I hear a car pulling up the driveway. I look out the window, the same dark sedan. Anna and Carter step out. Carter's carrying a small briefcase. I call Welsh, but it goes straight to voicemail. I call the police. 911. What's your emergency? 2 wanted people just came to my house, Anna Stevens and James Carter. Your address? I give it, but realize the police won't get here fast enough. The doorbell rings. Anna and Carter are at my door. Helen, we need to talk. About what? Let us in. It's about Mike. I don't think that's a good idea. Carter steps forward. Mrs. Morrison, your son's in danger. Every minute counts. Where is he? Let us in, and we'll explain. I open the door, but keep the chain on. Say it here. Anna pulls out her phone, shows me a photo. Mike, tied to a chair in some basement. He's alive, but not for long. What do you want? Carter opens the briefcase. Sign these papers. Everything you own goes to Anna. And in return, Mike lives. And me too? Anna and Carter exchange a glance. That depends on you, Helen. I unhook the chain and let them inside. In the living room, Carter opens the briefcase. Inside are documents and medical supplies. Mrs. Morrison, you have a choice. Sign voluntarily or... He holds up a syringe. The same method we used on Mike. Only this time, it'll be permanent. Where's my son? Anna pulls out her phone and starts a video call. On the screen, Mike, tied to a chair in some basement. Mom! Don't sign anything. They're lying. Carter snatches the phone away. Enough. Mrs. Morrison, you have 5 minutes. And if I sign, you'll let Mike go? Of course. But in Anna's eyes, I see the truth. They plan to kill us both. All right. Give me the papers. I take the pen, pretending to read the will. At that moment, I hear sirens. Carter jumps up. Police! Yes, I called them while you were on your way. Anna grabs the syringe. Then you'll die right now. She lunges at me, but I dodge behind the couch. Carter runs to the door, but it bursts open and armed officers rush in. Police! Hands up! 5 minutes later, Anna and Carter are in handcuffs. Detective Martinez comes over to me. Mrs. Morrison, are you all right? Yes, but my son, they're keeping him somewhere. We'll interrogate them. We'll find out where. Anna stays silent under questioning. Carter demands a lawyer. Time passes and there's still no word on Mike's location. 2 days later, the FBI gets involved. Agent Thompson explains why. Mrs. Morrison, we believe your son may be overseas. Carter has ties to organized crime groups in Eastern Europe. In which country? Belarus, most likely. It's a place where, for the right price, someone can hide from American justice. Welsh, now working with the FBI, shows me a map. Mrs. Morrison, Carter has a partner in Minsk, a man named Viktor Petrov. We believe Mike may be with him. What are you going to do? Agent Thompson takes out some documents. Officially, we'll reach out to the Belarusian authorities, but that could take months. And unofficially, we have contacts at the U.S. Embassy in Minsk. If Mike is really there, they'll try to find him. Detective Martinez comes back from the interrogation room. Anna has agreed to cooperate in exchange for a lighter sentence. What did she say? Mike really is in Belarus. They're keeping him in a private clinic disguised as a drug rehab patient. What clinic? A rehab center called New Life just outside Minsk. Officially, it's for addiction treatment. Unofficially, it's a place where you can hide someone for money. Agent Thompson makes a call. I'm passing the information to the embassy. They'll check the clinic. A week later, Agent Thompson calls. Mrs. Morrison, we've got news from Minsk. Good news? Mixed. Mike is indeed at the New Life clinic, but there's a problem. What kind of problem? Officially, he's registered as Viktor Petrov, a Belarusian citizen undergoing treatment for drug addiction. He has fake documents. How is that even possible? Corruption. In Belarus, money can buy you any papers you want. Welsh explains further. Mrs. Morrison, the issue is that Belarusian authorities can't just hand over someone with Belarusian documents to the U.S. Embassy. But you know that's my son. We do. But Belarusian bureaucracy moves slowly. Plus, Viktor Petrov, Carter's partner, has government connections. Agent Thompson continues. But there is some good news. Our guy at the embassy made contact with one of the clinic's guards. For the right price, he's willing to help. How much? $50,000. That's not a problem. Mrs. Morrison, you understand this will be an illegal operation? If something goes wrong, I understand. But this is my son. 3 days later, Agent Thompson shares the details of the operation. Mrs. Morrison, everything's ready. Tomorrow night, the guard will get Mike out of the clinic and hand him over to our people. Within 24 hours, he'll be at the U.S. Embassy. And after that, we'll issue emergency papers and fly him home. I wait for news from Minsk, sleepless all night. At 6 a.m, Agent Thompson calls. Mrs. Morrison, the operation was successful. Mike is at the U.S. Embassy. Is he okay? Yes. Exhausted but healthy. He's flying to New York tomorrow. I can't believe it. After months of fear and uncertainty, my son is coming home. I fly to New York to meet him. At Kennedy Airport, I wait in the arrivals hall. Every minute drags like an hour. Finally, Mike comes out of customs. Thin, pale, but alive. An embassy officer walks beside him. Mom! We hug in the middle of the crowd, and I cry with relief. Oh my God, my boy. What did they do to you? They kept me drugged. Told me you were dead, that I had nowhere to go back to. It's over now. The only thing that matters is your home. The embassy officer hands me documents. Mrs. Morrison, your son will need medical care and psychological support. Of course. Thank you for everything. On the plane home, Mike tells me the details. Mom, Anna convinced me the only way to keep you safe was if I disappeared. She said Carter and his people were planning to kill you. And you believed her? She showed me photos of people supposedly watching you. Told me they'd already killed 2 others. Mike lowers his head. I panicked. I agreed to that insane plan to fake my death. And what happened next? Dr. Reynolds gave me a drug that slowed my heartbeat. In the hospital, an orderly declared me dead. Then they secretly moved me to the airport. And sent you to Belarus? Yes, Anna said Carter had a safe place there, that I'd stay 6 months and then the 3 of us would move to some country without extradition. And the money? Anna said she'd sell my business and collect the insurance. That the money would let us start a new life. But you knew I'd believe you were dead? Mike squeezes my hands. Anna promised she'd explain everything to you in 6 months. That she'd tell you I was alive and we'd be together again. And the letter? When the plane landed in Minsk, I realized I'd been tricked. I managed to give a note to a college acquaintance, Victor, asked him to find a way to get it to you. And he did? He flew to London a month later, found you at the funeral, and gave you the letter. And after that? They arrested me with fake documents. Carter gave me a Georgian passport, said it would be safer that way. How long were you in prison? 4 months. I kept telling the guards I was American, but nobody believed me. With Georgian papers, I was just another Georgian drug dealer. But the embassy eventually found you? One guard got tired of hearing me say the same thing every day. He agreed to pass the information to the American consulate. For money? For the promise he'd get money later. And the rest, you know. At home, Mike undergoes a medical exam. Doctors find traces of long-term sedative use, but no lasting damage. A psychologist diagnoses post-traumatic stress, but says it's treatable. A week later, the trial against Anna and Carter begins. Mike testifies via video call. He's not ready to appear in public yet. Anna's lawyer tries to claim she was a victim too, that Carter forced her into the scheme, but the evidence against her is overwhelming. Detective Martinez presents their text messages, showing Anna and Carter discussing the plan in detail. Anna doesn't look like a victim, more like an equal partner. Welsh testifies about the financial fraud. A handwriting expert confirms Anna had been practicing Mike's signature. Dr. Reynolds, who helped forge the medical records, gets 10 years. He cooperates with investigators in exchange for a lighter sentence. Anna gets 15 years for fraud, kidnapping, and attempted murder. Carter gets 25 years. His ties to international crime groups make the sentence even harsher. Viktor Petrov, who helped keep Mike in Belarus, is arrested by Belarusian authorities. But the U.S. can't get him extradited. Mike slowly starts to rebuild his life. He spends the first months living with me. Being alone is too hard. Mom, I still wake up not knowing where I am. That will pass. The psychologist says it just takes time. And sometimes I think Anna's going to walk through the door. She's in prison. For a long time. Mike goes through therapy, learning to trust again. His first dates end badly. He's afraid of being tricked once more. Mom, how will I know if someone isn't lying to me? Time will tell. Trust has to be built slowly. 6 months later, Mike finds a new job at an IT company where nobody knows his story. He rents an apartment in the next neighborhood. I want to start over. That's the right thing to do. Welsh, who helped with the investigation, becomes a good family friend. Sometimes he comes over for dinner, sharing stories about his new cases. Helen, do you ever regret that all of this happened? You know, Welsh, in a way, no. Mike and I became closer. I learned not to trust blindly, and Mike learned to be careful. Painful lessons. The most important ones always are. A year later, I meet Mike's new girlfriend, Sarah, a coworker. A simple, genuine girl without secrets or hidden motives. Mom, I want you to meet Sarah. With pleasure. At dinner, I see Mike smiling, really smiling for the first time in 2 years. Sarah laughs at his jokes, asks simple questions, doesn't try to impress. Sarah's a programmer, Mike tells me. How interesting. And how did you two meet? We work on the same team. Mike helped me with a project. No secrets, no schemes. Just two people who like each other. Another 6 months pass. Mike and Sarah are serious now. He tells her his story. Not all at once, but slowly, testing her reaction. Mom, I was afraid she'd run when she learned the truth. And what happened? She said, I'm a victim, not a criminal. That the past doesn't define the future. She's a smart girl. Sarah really does prove to be special. She doesn't try to fix Mike, doesn't pressure him, doesn't demand closeness. She just stays by his side when things get hard. Mrs. Morrison, sometimes Mike wakes up at night from nightmares, she tells me. How do you handle it? I just hold him until it passes. I don't ask questions. I don't push him to talk. You realize this could go on for years? I do. But I'm not going anywhere. Unlike Anna, Sarah doesn't care about my money, doesn't ask about the business, doesn't offer to help with finances. She works, rents her own apartment, lives independently. When Mike asks her to move in with him, she says no. It's too soon. We need to get to know each other better. A wise decision. Anna had moved in with Mike after just 3 months of dating. 2 years later, I decide to hand over the beauty salon business to Mike. He's recovered, ready for new challenges. Mom, are you sure? This is your work. It's time for you to take responsibility. And I want more time with my future grandchildren. Mike laughs. What grandchildren? The ones you'll give me with Sarah. Sarah blushes but smiles. They've been living together for 6 months, and I can see how well they fit. The handover goes smoothly. Mike proves to be a talented manager, attentive to detail, cautious with money, but willing to take smart risks. My time with Anna taught me to double-check every number, he says. In the first year under Mike's management, the salon profits grow by 20%. He brings in new technology, improves service, and expands the range of treatments. Welsh, who advises us on security, approves of the changes. Mike's become very careful. He checks every new hire's background, insists on references. Paranoia? Healthy caution. After what he's been through, it's normal. At Christmas, Mike proposes to Sarah. Simple, sincere, without any show. They come over for dinner, and after dessert, Mike gets down on one knee. Sarah, I know I have a complicated past. I know I'm not perfect, but I love you and I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Sarah cries as she says yes. We all hug and I realize our family is whole again. When's the wedding? I ask. In the summer, Sarah answers. Just a small ceremony. Close family only. No detective at the door, Mike adds, and we all laugh. The wedding preparations are calm this time. No rush, no pressure, no expensive extravagance. Welsh helps vet all the vendors. Catering, florists, photographers. Better safe than sorry, he says. Pastor Johnson agrees to perform the ceremony. This will be a blessed union, he says. After everything, Mike deserves happiness. The wedding takes place in the same church where 3 years earlier we had buried Mike. Symbolic and healing at the same time. Mike stands at the altar in a simple black suit. No flash, no show. His new co-workers stand beside him, people who know his story and accept him as he is. Sarah walks in wearing a plain white dress, beautiful in her natural simplicity, without trying to impress. Pastor Johnson speaks about second chances, about how God gives people the chance to start again. Michael, 3 years ago, we thought we had lost you forever. Today you're here, ready to begin a new chapter. When they kiss after their vows, everyone applauds. I cry with joy, knowing the nightmare is truly behind us. At the reception, Welsh gives a toast to Mike and Sarah. To love that defeats deceit. To family, the most important thing of all. Mike answers. To my mom, who never stopped believing. To the friends who helped me find my way home. To Sarah, who taught me how to trust again. We dance late into the night. For the first time in years, I feel truly happy. I sit in the garden behind my house, watching my 3-year-old grandson David play with toy cars. Beside me, Sarah rocks newborn Emma in her arms. Mike comes home from work, tired but content. "How are things at the salons?" I ask. "We just opened the 6th one. Profits are growing." "And what does Detective Welsh say about security?" All quiet. No suspicious people. Mike lifts David into his arms. "Daddy, tell me about the cars." "What cars?" "The police ones. The ones that catch bad guys." Mike looks at me and smiles. "All right. Once upon a time, there were policemen who protected good people from the bad ones." Sarah walks over with Emma. "Helen, would you like to hold her?" I take my granddaughter in my arms. Tiny, perfect, with Mike's eyes. "Who do you think she looks like?" Sarah asks. "Her grandfather," I answer. "She's got his stubborn chin." I look at my family. Mike telling a bedtime story to our older grandson. Sarah tucking a blanket around the baby. The children growing up surrounded by love and safety. 5 years ago, I thought I'd lost everything. Today, I realize I've gained so much more than I ever had. Welsh comes over for Sunday dinner. By now, he's practically part of the family. "Helen, have you ever thought about writing a book about your story?" "Why?" "So that other people know. You have to trust your intuition." A mother's heart rarely makes mistakes. Maybe he's right. But for now, simple family happiness is enough for me. In the evening, when everyone's gone, I take out the same letter from Mike, kept in a small box, yellowed, worn from being read so many times. "Mom, I'm alive. Don't trust Anna, I'm trying to get back to you." Simple words that saved our lives. A mother's intuition told me to believe them, and it was the right choice. I fold the letter and put it back in the box, beside photos of my grandchildren, children's drawings, tickets from family trips, pieces of life, pieces of love, and now, pieces of hope for the future. The house is quiet. Mike and Sarah are putting the kids to bed. Tomorrow will bring a new day, new joys, new worries. But no more secrets, no more lies, no more fear. Only family, only love, only life moving forward.